Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Addison of Property Hunter Ghana. In this video we'll be looking at the top 5 reasons why real estate prices in Ghana is on the increase. And for clarity, I would like to emphasize that this video is not to justify the prices of properties in Ghana, but to explain why the prices are where they are currently. So let's get started. Number 5, one of the main reasons why property prices in Ghana is on the increase is that the demand for property right now is really high. I mean, the number of people seeking to buy houses in Ghana far outstripped the number of houses being built. So we have more people looking for houses to buy than available houses on the market. Higher demand, limited supply, prices increase. It's as simple as that. Another aspect of demand that's increasing the price of property is demand for specific locations. So certain locations have very high demands, places like East Legon, Cantonments, the Jowolo and things like that. Because the demands there are high, the prices in those areas are very high. So one way to explain why the prices are increasing is that the demand is high and the demand for specific locations are high. So for example, properties in East Legon will be like 10-15 times or even 20 times more expensive than properties in Adenta. But Adenta is just near East Legon. You could virtually walk into Adenta from East Legon. But the prices in Adenta in East Legon is like 20 times higher than a place like Adenta. Or something like the prices in Adenta will be probably 10 times more expensive than a place like Dodowa, even though Dodowa is just about 10 minutes drive from Adenta. So there are locations that have higher value than others, whether that's perception or reality or something. But the reality is that certain locations have higher value than others, and the prices in these low locations are rising very quickly. Another factor affecting the increase in prices in property in Accra is that government participation is very low. So government has attempted on several occasions to build the affordable housing, and up to now they are still at where they are. No progress. Most of those projects have actually been abandoned, and so you realize that the affordable housing market in Ghana is almost non-existent. So developers or private developers who are looking to put up projects for sale are actually going into the high-end property market instead of the low-income property market. So people looking at getting low-income houses have difficulty getting properties because most of the developers will rather go into the high-income or the luxury market than the low-income market. The reason is that the high income is more profitable than the low-income market. For example, if a developer puts up a house, let's say spend about $200,000 to put up a house, right? He's able to sell that house for about $600,000. He makes a profit that's about 3-4 times his expenditure. But if you put up a low-income house for, let's say, $15,000, you could probably sell it for $20,000, which is about 100%, but not as high as the luxury market. So it explains that fact. If government could do more to put up more affordable houses, I think it will help bring down the prices of properties within the city. And number 3, I would say, is the cost of construction. The cost of construction in Ghana right now is increasing by the day. So the price of cement, iron rod, sand, labor and the likes are increasing by the day. And another thing affecting the cost of construction is that majority of the input for constructing a house in Ghana are imported. So from your tiles to your sanitary ware to the windows and the doors and things like that are imported. So and the tax on imports in Ghana is crazy. If you've ever experienced importing things into Ghana, please leave your comment in the comment section. Importing things to Ghana, you pay a very, very hefty tax on the material. So if government could at least reduce the tax burden on people trying to put up houses in Ghana, it will go a long way to reduce the cost of putting up a building and the cost of construction. That is one very, very interesting thing that government could do. At least reduce the tax of importing things in Ghana. It will go a very long way to reduce the cost of houses in Ghana. If you've enjoyed the video so far, or you think the content is interesting, please don't forget to subscribe. I plan doing a lot of these videos nowadays, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and let's have fun exploring other real estate topics. Another reason for the increasing price of property in Accra is the cost of acquiring the land in Accra. It's not so much as the price of lands in Accra, but the risks involved in acquiring the land in Accra. If you've ever acquired land in Accra or gone through the process of getting the land in Accra, please let's know of your experience in the comment section. But there's a very high risk of buying lands in Accra. That's why more people are now buying houses rather than building themselves, because the risks you go through purchasing the land in Accra is very, very high. Most lands in Accra are undocumented. It means there is no proper documents to show who the true owner of the land is. So if you are going to buy a land where you cannot be sure of the true owner of the land, that's a very high risk. That's where people buy land that have been sold to like 3 or 4 people, or you buy a land and later realize that the land belongs to the government or things like that. You know, so as a real estate developer, right, you are going to spend a huge amount of money to acquire lands that you may end up in court defending that land, or you may have to deal with land guards and people demonstrating against you and things like that, because you've acquired land that is involved in litigations. You know, so as an estate developer, you are going to put a huge chunk of your investment in risks by acquiring the land and putting up the building. You will definitely factor in the risks you take in acquiring the lands. That's why a lot of people nowadays are going into buying houses rather than building themselves, because of the risks involved in acquiring the land in Accra. I think we could eliminate a lot of these risks simply by forcing people to, you know, register their land. Every land in Accra should be registered, whether it's a stool land, a government land, a family land. Every land should be registered. I don't know why it's so difficult for us to make sure that every land is registered, but you have lands, vast acres of land, and there are people who are living in houses in Accra that there is no proper documents on the houses. No proper document whatsoever. They've lived in a house for like 50 years, 60 years, and there is no proper documentations on the land. So that's a very, very huge risk involving the real estate space in Accra. So as a developer, they also factored those risks into their pricing. It's no wonder that prices are increasing, because the risk is also increasing by the day. And the number one and most important factor in the price of property in Accra is that the interest rate on loans in Ghana is crazily high. So you are a businessman, right? You want to put up houses for sale. You end up going to the bank to take loan at about 30% interest rate. Just imagine taking a loan for 30%. If you are in the US, for example, you are taking a loan like 5%, 6%, 7%, or even 4% at times. But a Ghanaian businessman will have to take a loan at 30%, 25% to put up his houses. He is definitely going to pass on the cost to the consumer. That's you, the consumer. So the interest rates in Ghana, we have one of the highest interest rates in the whole of Africa. Can you imagine? The whole Africa, Ghana has the highest interest rate on loan. So a businessman definitely going to factor in the cost of borrowing into the price of the house. So you could blame the developer for the high prices or not, but that's the reality of it. he has to pay a very, very high interest on the loan he's taking. Very, very, very sad, but that's the reality of it. And this factor do not just affect the developer or the property owners. It also affects you going to buy a house, because the interest on mortgage is crazily high in Ghana also. If you've ever dealt with mortgage companies in Ghana, you will know the type of interest they demand. It's really, really high. Even though the risks involved in mortgage loan is significantly lower than an ordinary loan, they still charge a very, very high interest rate. So the interest rate in Ghana, I really don't have a solution to how they could reduce the interest rate, but somehow we need to find a way of reducing interest rate in Ghana to make houses a little more affordable for the ordinary Ghanaians. If you like this video and you want to see more of it, let me know in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The name is Mr. Addison of Property Hunter Ghana. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you really like the content, and come back for more. Thank you.